and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a quick look at three really nice bits of kit. One of those I'll show you while I'm cutting the wood. One of those is a great little fire help bit of kit if it all starts going a little bit wrong, which it did for me and Chris last weekend. We were out. And the third bit of kit is a little bit of thermal imaging kit, which I've done a video on thermal imaging, so I'm not going to go into all of that, but this is a really nice, lightweight, very lightweight bit of kit you could take with you and have a very capable night vision capability. So I'm going to show you that as well. It's going to be cold tonight. It's going down to minus 4 or 5 degrees centigrade tonight, so it is going to be cold. I'm not particularly well dressed, so that is one bit of kit. I wanted to bring my bigger jacket, but my bag is rammed, so I'm going to get a fire going, which I'll start in a minute. Having a quick tinny. My next job here is to sort the wood out, and so I am a little bit nervous about being here because people do walk their dog. It's very rare, but it would be quite obvious where I am. I think people would see me and pick me out, so I will leave. The first thing I'll do is sort my wood out, and I'll sort my wood out over there, and then I'll bring my wood over, and the last thing I'll do just before it gets dark will be to put my sleep system up, and then as soon as it is dark I'll get the fire. Okay, the first bit of kit that we're going to talk about is a saw. I normally go for silky saws. I've been using silky saws for the last 3 years. They are certainly my favourite. I've used the Banco Laplander, which I think is a tougher saw. It's cheaper. If you're getting into wild camping, that's the saw to go for. A silky, you can break that a little bit easier. I've got the Pocket Boy, the Gone Boy, two Gone Boys. One of those being the Outback, and then a couple of big boys, one of those again being an Outback version. Absolutely massive fan of those. And then I do have a, what's it called? I forget, I'll maybe stick the name up, but you fold the whole thing out, and when I first started wild camping, I thought that's exactly what I need, because Joe uses that out in Canada, so that's exactly what I need. But actually in the UK, I didn't need that. It's complete overkill. Anyway, I've done a video on saws. This saw, which I'm going to show you now, is, I've seen it, another YouTuber out in Canada used one, and I just wondered what that would be like. So this is the first time I've used it. This is no review at all. It is the Nordic Pocket Saw. It comes in a very lightweight little bag here. Let's see how good it is. I don't think it's going to be like a silky. I don't expect that, but this is something that you chuck in your rucksack, or I don't know what you do if you don't normally do fires, but you think, you know what, there may be that opportunity, or that time when I really think I need a fire. Actually, things are getting cold. I've got an emergency little fire lighting kit. This is a great idea, just to chuck in your bag instead of a Laplander or a silky. It's got a strap at the top, some very good stitching in there. I mean, single stitching, but you know, there's no way that's coming off. You then got a little contraption here, which then leads into the saw teeth themselves. There are two different sizes. This one is the smaller version. It has 33 teeth. The bigger one has 50 teeth. This one is 65 centimeters long. The bigger one is 93 centimeters, I think it is. I got this one because I'm not out in Canada. I don't need to be doing big logs. So I've done a little bit of a calculation, and I've looked at the length of this. I've then assumed my normal stroke is about a 30 centimeter pull, so 30 centimeter pull, and then you do a little bit of maths, 2 pi r, and you come up with what I think is the maximum diameter of wood that you are going to cut with this is about 20 centimeter diameter. So we're looking at pretty big stuff, really. That's the maximum though that I think this saw is capable of. mathematically, but I think you're probably looking at something more in the sort of 10 to 15 centimetre diameter. Anything more than that, you need to go for the bigger one, and then if you do the same calculation for the bigger one, the maximum you want to be cutting it really is about 40 centimetres. But like I say, I think that is an absolute diameter, absolute maximum in centimetres. You get three different straps. This is the green one. I wish I'd gone for the orange, and there is a red. I was letting my heart lead the way instead of my head. If I was using my head, I would have got an orange one. I can't believe I made such a basic bloody mistake, but there we go. I don't know why I did it, but that's what we've done. So I'm going to go and have a little bit of a play with this, see how good it is. It may be something that you're interested in if you don't normally do fires and you think, you know what, I'll have something in the back pocket just in case. Seriously lightweight bit of kit. Let's go and have a little play. That's a bit annoying, constantly doing that. Got our hands in the loops. Wow. Okay. What's going on there? Okay. Yeah, this thing goes through pretty quick, but it does catch quite easily. Goes through as quick as a silky. Yeah, but it's more management of it. Silky is straightforward. I do like the position you're in, because a silky you're always looking for ways to hold the log. You can put it through your legs, you know, and then you can cut down one side it's going through your legs to hold it. There's lots of different ways of doing it, using other logs, etc. But actually this is a nicer way of doing it, because you're over the top and just pulling through. So right. Oh, these bloody knots. Alright, that was that one. Be very careful not to kill myself. Okay, it's about 4 centimetre diameter. Alright. Yeah, it's good. When it gets going, it's good. If you're going for something that's too thick, it's not. So this is absolutely fine. 4 centimetre, 5-6 centimetre diameter. I would have no issues, but I think 20 is maybe a maximum, but I wouldn't do it. It's not slick, and to be honest, using this thing ain't slick. These are pretty wet, that's very wet. So these are fairly wet. I've got some good small stuff, next size stuff, and then a load over there. Clear the area, the ground's pretty wet. I'm going to keep this simple, as I always do. This is my extra, so in my main fire bag. So this is now my fire bag. I can basically go from a lens to a flint and steel to all sorts of different waterproof matches, but I've got a load of tinder in there, all sorts different sorts of tinder with fat wood and all sorts. But actually I always bring out a spare, and I tend to use this extra little tinder bag just for getting fires going. I say tinder, it's not really tinder, is it? It's homemade cotton wool and doused in stuff and wax, which work brilliantly, and I'll chuck a little wax plug in there as well. There we go, and that'll just help get the whole lot going. We'll see. Right, we'll get this lot going, and I'm hungry. We're off. Hopefully I can keep it up and not put it out. Put this away. Ferrod is my favourite by a mile, but I really do want to get a bit more into the finding natural tinder and doing that. I do it rarely, probably one in 10 do I go out and find proper tinder. Very rarely. There we go, hopefully that'll get going. It might be quite wet. It's all basically a load of ash, but hopefully we'll get going, and if it fails, then I'm going to get out item number 2. There's quite a bit of moisture in, you can see it all coming out. Right then, so a little chat about the second bit of kit that I've got. The first bit of kit, that saw, initial impressions are, yeah, you're looking at smaller, 10 centimeters I reckon diameter for that smaller version, and it got caught a lot, it got wrapped up a lot. There are sort of management problems with it. It's nowhere near the same as having a silky saw, but I'll tell you what, it went through stuff real quick. So as a backup option, you know, if you do need to get a fire going, you snap the little stuff, and the bigger stuff you use that. Yeah, I think it's a really viable option just to chuck in your pack. But I wouldn't take it out while camping. If I knew that I was going to be cutting wood, I would just take out a proper saw. But initial impressions, yeah, I like it. It's I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It might go in my day pack. I'll wait and see. Anyhow, bit of kit number 2 is something that I picked up really from last week's camp. Went out with Chris, lots of oak around, very damp. It was damp, dead standing, and we had a real nightmare getting the fire going. And normally, you know, I've had some issues sometimes, very rarely getting the fire going. Often it's because I'm lazy and I don't sort the wood out properly. It's not proper preparation, and therefore I end up with a problem when it comes to the wood and getting the fire going. You know, sometimes you need to split the wood, sometimes you need to sort out different size, you know, suitable sizes and a decent amount of kindling to help get it going. But we were a little bit lazy, I'll admit, last weekend, but we just could not get this fire going. So what we ended up doing was Chris got a little blower, very similar to this. This is a flex tail blower. I'm gonna turn it on very briefly, but flex tail gear, max pump 2. It is a touch sensitive thing. I want to try it, but I hate this thing. No, it's not turning on. I think maybe if I press this button under here to trigger it. No,
it's fully charged. I don't get it. You've got this one button that is touch, and I get the whole point of it is that you don't want it going off in your bag, so they've made it this touch thing. I just never understood it. You know, I've charged this thing up. There it is. Okay, so the light comes on. We're off. No, we're off. I don't understand. And then it starts going, and you're desperately trying to turn the thing off because you can see a flashlight in the distance and the thing's still going. So not a fan. I'll be honest, it's pretty redundant now. I charged it up just for this and there was very little point. But one of those little chargers which Chris had, he just sat down next to the fire and it just kept that fire going. And if we hadn't had that blowing, and it probably had to sit it there for 10 minutes, it started fading a little bit, so we had to plug it into a battery bank. But that thing got that fire going, all that wet wood, but it got enough heat in there in the end that we could chuck anything on there and that fire would keep going. So it was an absolute godsend, but this one here has not been favourable. The other one that I bought is this one here, which is again a flex tail gear, but this one's got a light on it. It is not touch sensitive. It's quite obvious on the top here. I can press the button. Oh, hang on. There you go. So there's my light is on. That's great, and I've shown this on another video, so I'm not going to go over it too much. Turn it off, and then you press this once. It really helps get that fire going. So the only thing you need to worry about really is the air intake. You don't want hot air going in there because that's just going to cause problems internally. So you need to keep this away from the flame, the air intake. But the blower, yeah, brilliant. So this one here is flex tail gear also. You can see the one I've just shown you is that big, and this one is that big. It is, in terms of volume and space that it takes up in your bag, if you do the calculations on the diameter of the measurements of this and look at the measurements of this is about half the volume it takes up. I'll give you the stats. So it does have a light, and there's a button on the bottom, so I like this already. It's an actual button, so I press and hold. Let's see what happens. There's the light, and you've got other settings. You can go brighter and then into red flashing and then off, and then there's obviously the blower. There is no recharging facility in here, so you can't treat it like a battery bank. So it's a blower, or it's a light. Like I say, cost, it's called the Outdoor Mini Air Pump. I'll put a link in the description. It's not a flex tail gear, but a kit. It's something off Amazon, 1600 milliamp hours. It is 3 kilopascals in terms of pressure, so it is a bit better. It's sort of halfway between the two settings on here, which I don't know how to get to. So it's somewhere between those two. It'll give you 20 minutes of blowing, which is great if you've got a fire, you know, and there are little nozzles etc to help you blow up your mattress. But 20 minutes, you're easily going to blow up a mattress, probably 10 times. I think it was 10 times to blow up an air mattress. It takes 2 hours to charge. And the benefits of this, you know, a really nice little small compact thing. I can chuck this in my bag with my fire kit, and when the fire just ain't going, I can get this thing on. Great little bit of kit. So, you know, if I'm ever going somewhere and I know it's been really wet out there, I'm just going to chuck this in my bag. It's small. Because it's got a small nozzle, the air that it's chucking out is coming out at a higher speed. It goes further than this one. This one will chuck out, you know, its normal amount of air, but because it's got a wide nozzle, it's coming out at a slower speed. It's not going to push it out as far. So this really does chuck it out a long way. So this, you can just sit it there for 20 minutes and this thing will just sit there. Now admittedly, for stealth camping, these things are no good if you want to get a fire going and be stealthy. But if you want to be stealthy, you're not going to get a fire going. So Great little add-on to your kit. £17 sterling, hardly any weight. Quite impressed. We'll see how long it lasts. Obviously just an initial review, but yeah, another bit of kit you might want to think about. Right, I'm gonna get this fire, get this food going. The batteries, trying to film in the cold is a real issue. Right, let that calm down a little bit and then we'll get the meat on. Okay, we're going to start off with a little bit of lamb, and then we've got some pork belly, and then a little bit of pita bread. Like I say, I'm keeping it really simple. I don't want to, I just didn't want pots and pans and all the other stuff to deal with. Just keep it simple. Woo! Whoa!
Out with to attack the farmers because they didn't want the farmers protesting. Well, now it's spread to Germany because they are talking about banning the party so that it can't even be part of elections.
Going to bed now. That is it's starting to get very cold. I think we're down at -2 now. Centigrade. Oh, oh yeah.
Well, good morning. That was a great night's sleep. Slept like a log. Serious heat from from this setup. You know, well, I think underneath I'm protected down to -9 with this amazing Superior Gear hammock, and then on top I had a Thermarest Quasar. This is my lightweight winter bag, good down to -18C. Man, it was just toasty in there, absolutely gorgeous. Well, yeah, went down to -4, so not too bad, and no rain, thank God. Right, I'm going to show you a bit of kit, the last little bit of kit, which yeah, I love. It's pretty bloody awesome. I'm going to show you that now. Okay, I did a video on thermal stuff a few videos ago. Didn't actually get very many views, but it's not everyone's thing, I know. But if you go into the woods, into wild camping, you may be nervous about what's out there in the middle of the night. You maybe want to go and look for animals and things like that. So it's a nice thing to be able to take, but thermal cameras, you know, if you get the real cheap one, the Lynx, the Hikmicro, I think it's the Lynx LE10, you know, you're going to pay 500 quid, and it's not a particularly good camera. I wouldn't buy that one. You can go up to, you know, the next one up, I think is a 15, which is just about okay. But then you're looking at £600. You know, it's a lot of money basically. But there is an alternative if you're interested, and the good thing is that you don't have to carry a big camera around with you. This camera comes in at 250 quid or around about there, and it's that big. Amazing. And this is a big box for it. There's loads of space in there. Yeah, and it slides into that little slot there. You've got a little bit of netting to put your other things. I'm going to show you now. Okay, you also get a connector, because this thing is going to connect onto your phone. So USB-C into your phone, and then you plug the device into there, or you can just plug the device straight into your phone. The device itself is here. It's called a Hikmicro. It's made by Hikmicro. I think it's called an E20 or ED20 or something like that. I'll put it up. There's a cover on the lens there, and there's the lens. It is basically it's just a 256 pixel thermal sensor, and it's friggin' awesome. The great thing is that one of the great things is that it's not power. There's no power in there. You don't charge it. You just plug it into your phone, and the phone's power, which doesn't use a lot of power at all, just keeps this thing going. It's bloody ingenious. I'll put some video up. You download an app. In the app, there's a zoom in and out. You can choose all the different sort of palettes you want black hot, white hot, red hot, a couple of other weird ones, and one that they've got is and we use this a little bit in the military, or you can use this. It's basically a bird watching mode, and all they've actually done is adjust the contrasting such that anything that only really hot stuff will stand out. Everything else just sort of blends, is very dull down. You won't see any detail on any animals or people or things like that, no good detail, but it just helps pick out that hot spot. I've taken it out looking for rabbits in local fields, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's not as good as my normal scope. That's picking out rabbits at, out at 200 meters. This thing, I'm picking out a rabbit at 100, 120 meters. I can see that there's something there, rather. I can't tell it's a rabbit, but I can see it maybe a hop. I could certainly see the fox. There's a fox wandering down the bottom there as well, bottom of the field, and I could pick him out 120 meters and say, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a fox. Maybe a badger, but it's probably a fox. It's good. And picking out humans, yeah, so anyone that was sort of in this area, I would pick them out, no problem with this. I've been really impressed with it. Right, that's me done. Get out of here, should be real quick. I'm literally going to take this whole lot, sleeping bag, pillow and the hammock, unclip, straight into the bag, straps in, sort the fire. I'll be out of here in 10 minutes. Hope you enjoyed the video. Quick summary of the three things we looked at was this, the thermal. If you want to know a bit more about thermal, go and have a look at my other video. It didn't get many views, but it's not everyone's thing, I know. And 250 quid is rather a lot, but very cheap for a thermal device, and actually a very capable bit of kit, which I've been really impressed by, and a lot of other people have online as well. If you want to look for animals in the woods, if you want to have that bit of reassurance to be able to scan the area, or just something to keep you going on a winter's night, keep something, a little bit of interest, then it might be worth thinking about. The saw, yeah, you can put it on your belt. No, it's no silky, that's for sure. I mean, it bloody well saws well, it's very good at sawing, but it snags too often for my liking, which instead of having a full range of sawing, I ended up just having a smaller range because one of the teeth was snagging on something. I don't know if one of the teeth is misaligned in there. Managing it curls itself up a little bit. It takes a lot longer to manage it, but once it gets sawing, it goes through like a silky. It's actually quite impressive. It's quite gnarly, so it is ripping through there, so it's not as smooth maybe as a silky, but you got to look at the size of it, don't you? This is something that if I'm going out, if I was going out for multiple days and I wasn't planning to go into the woods and need to light a fire or anything like that, then I would probably take this and just throw this in the back, so that if I needed to, I can snap wood, twigs and things like that. Bigger stuff you can maybe snap using some other trees by bending it in there, use your foot, whatever, and then the bigger stuff you can always use this. So I think it's an option if you're not planning to make a fire and you just want to throw it in your bag. As with the thermal, really, it's a small device that helps you do something if you need to do it. And the third small device that helps you out is this amazing little blower. I've been really impressed with it. It's half the volume of the bigger blower. I'm a big fan of the big one that I showed you, the white one with the light, with the charging. Not a fan of the touch sensitive orange one I showed you, but the bigger white one, I use that quite often. If I want to have a little bit of light, then I take that, and that's my go-to. But if I just want to keep it all real small, and it's a just in case the fire fades on me, then this is a bloody little lifesaver. And it was with Chris and I. The wood was so bad there where we were that it just sat and it just kept that fire going, and it turned it from a bit of a failure, given that we had to cook the food with it, with that fire. It turned from a failure to a roaring fire. This thing will run for 20 minutes, so you just got no worries. You just sit it there. As long as it's not recirculating hot air in, then you're going to be absolutely fine. Really impressed, really impressed. There we go. So that's me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you next time. I don't know doing what. We'll see. Anyway, take care.